On this episode, we're putting on new tires and wheels. That's the aftermath of the wheel unboxing. Let's talk about wheels and tires in these cars. This jack is holding my suspension up because I hooked up the sway bar and I didn't want it bending on those bushings for overnight. So this is the original Speedline wheel, made in Italy, 13 by 5.5. And it, what you get with these now is the 175s, 175, 70, 13. This particular tire was made in the 4th week of 2013. So it's 11 years old. We're not going to drive on it. I mean, I've driven on it before, but it's hazardous. And so you can see the difference here. This tire is a 195, so it's slightly wider. It's a 45 series. It's a 45 series, so there's less sidewall depth. And it's mounted on a 15-inch wheel. So these are the wheels from Vick Autosports. It's 15 by 7. And the 195 fits on there perfect with very little overhang. And then it's hard to see, but let me see if you can see it. Yeah, you can. So the 195 is actually smaller diameter than the 175 on the 13-inch wheel. So don't roll away too far. Wider tire is going to give you a little bit better grip. Shorter tire is going to give you better cornering with less sidewall flex. These are mounted on Toyos. That's the only brand that was available at Discount Tire. I checked around on some other websites, Tire Rack and all those other kinds of spots. The Toyo pops up. There was a Hankook that popped up. For me, tire purchases are better more locally because of warranty and all that other kind of stuff. I'm not running a spare. I haven't run spares for years. The Mini Cooper doesn't even come with a spare. So proper tire maintenance is important. If you have a tire issue, nowadays you just call roadside assistance and get it fixed. I carry a kit, but if something really bad goes wrong, it's a tow truck. So I'm going to get these mounted up, and then we're going to drop this car on the ground, and we got to check for fender clearance. And then as long as that is okay, we should be ready to roll out the door and take a spin. I know that there's the 20550s that some people run, but those are a little bit too big. There's some clearance issues with the 20550s. I was thinking about 195 45s in the front and 205 50s in the rear, but I just went ahead and did the whole thing the same. The new tires are directional. There's a left side and a right side, so make sure you run them the right direction. Let's mount them up, see what happens. I haven't got my center caps yet because I don't know what center caps I want. Even though I've had these wheels sitting over here for about a year, I never messed with them until I needed them, which is today. So I spaced up the links on the sway bar with the washers from the kit. So it came with 4 washers per side. And then, you know, I wanted red bushings, so I bought red bushings. It came with more washers. So I stacked those in the middle, and it gives it more of a level, gives it more of a neutral position when it's going straight. Always start your lug nuts by hand. It's just a good idea. If I get you at the right angle, you can see there's space between this wheel and this fender. Even at full lock, it's not touching. I mean, it's close. When I put the fender liner in, we may have to make some adjustments, but I'm not opposed to tapping on that fender and moving it in a little bit. We shouldn't get much flex going this way. Full lock to the other side, no issues whatsoever. They'll take some getting used to, but you'll get used to the way it looks. You've been looking at it with those speed lines for a year, so they line up just with the inside of the fender. They don't stick out too far. I might put another 5mm spacer on the rear just to bump it out some more. Make it, you know, look like it's got a wide kit on it. I got room on my lugs, my studs, so I could add a 5mm here, bring these out. Once we drive it, it'll settle a little bit more. I think last time we did this, we were at 24 inches, and we're at 23 3/4, 23 on the front. I want a little bit of a downward rake, you know, 1980 style. It's been over a year since I bought the car, May-ish 23. It was a driver till I broke it in August. Well, I didn't break it. 40-year-old head gasket blew. It happens. If you got a 40-year-old head gasket, this is your clue to prepare to change it now, or just go ahead and change it. It's winter time for you people up north. If you're looking for something to do over the winter break, whatever y'all call it, snow fiesta, snowpocalypse, I don't know, something. If it's a 40-year-old head gasket, if you didn't replace it, you probably should. Otherwise, it could turn into something a little more catastrophic. In my instance, it wasn't catastrophic. It was just a blown head gasket. I opted to have the motor built at Vick Autosports. So it's a 1500cc block, 1300cc head that's been ported, machined, polished with 43mm stainless valves. It's got the performance camshaft from Vick Autosports. The crankshaft was lightened and knife edge. It's got a lightened flywheel. Pop-up pistons, 86mm. So it's a little bit, you know, bored out a little bit. And then they did the powder coating on the parts. And it looks great. The powder coating looks great. Wipes off easy. It's not going to oxidize or any of that other kind of stuff. I could probably be showing you pictures of the motor while I'm doing this. And then we put it all back together, and here we are. So I've gone over the car a couple of times, making sure I tightened everything up. It's one of those things, though, when you do a big project like this, it's one of those things you got to go back, there will be things that you forgot to tighten up. Hopefully it's not something that's, you know, rotating at high speed when you're driving and falls off. But I think we're pretty good, honest. I put the hood on last night. I checked the oil. I checked the coolant. I filled the gearbox, so I know it's full. I did some adjustments over here to make sure this was clicking right. And now it's not. So let's do that real fast. Okay, that's better. Let's see, does it light off? Should. So I have some plans for this engine cover. We'll talk about that later. We'll be doing some Jetronic fuel injection videos coming up later, right? We're going to do some tuning. We'll go over the components of the injection system, what does what can we do as far as making modifications to these systems to make the car run better, and then what can't we do. As long as nothing breaks really fast. That tach is sitting at 500 RPMs when the car isn't running. And the speedo is sitting at 10 miles an hour when the car isn't running. So we're going to take this dash out and we're going to fix those needles so that they're better. But it's a pretty nice day in Texas, and I'm going to take this car for a drive. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.